Hello and welcome to episode 201 of the Casual Tryhard podcast. I'm Brian,
And I'm James.
and today we've got some limited impressions, and Carson has got a rant all chambered up, ready to go about stuff. So if you like ranty Carson, we got you.
Got you covered.
Now his voice is apparently going out a little bit, so
Yeah, we'll see
he
if it
might not
holds
be able
out.
to. He might not be able to go full Lewis Black on this rant, but we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, it broke up on me a little bit this morning, so hopefully it holds out for the show. But yeah.
So, yeah. If you want to get at us on social media, like all of those links are in the description below. Discord, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. Discord is probably the number one place to interact with us.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we monitor it pretty much all the time. Also, our YouTube channel. We've got a bunch of stuff coming out on YouTube. Brian, you're making some limited content over there.
Mm-hmm.
You can also watch this show over there, a live version where you can look at our smiling faces. And I got some stuff coming out on Tuesdays now. I'm going to try to keep up with it. Some constructed like funsy stuff. Nothing super serious, super competitive, but
we're gonna try to have something come out every weekday.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be consistent on YouTube, and then once we get the consistency down, then we'll make thumbnails with our faces on them, which is apparently the other thing we have to do.
Oh, we need our faces on the thumbnails?
You need to have like this stupid like face thumbnail.
Oh.
Like that is like a way to make your thumbnails better is you have to have like the thumbnail like react face or something.
Oh.
Like I don't know, like you got a Macaulay Culkin it, like
I wasn't aware of
or
that.
something.
All
oh
right.
yeah, like
I'll have to work on that then.
Yeah, I gotta work on getting some like I keep thinking like I need to like take some thumbnail pictures, but then I'm just like, nah. Yeah. I've got my little Canva thing I can just change.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're supposed to have your face. That's the other thing. That's what Mr. Beast does.
Okay. Well, I'll have to work on that then.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's if you're looking to support the show and you like the content that we do, there's a couple different ways you can support us. The first is with our TCG player affiliate link, tcg.casualtryhardmtg.com. Follow that link on over to TCG player. Anything you purchase after that, doesn't matter how much you browse around, we will get a portion of to help keep the show going. We would appreciate that. It's something you can do kind of for free. I mean, you're going to be buying product anyway, so you might as well use our link and help us out. If you want to support us a little bit more directly, you can use our Patreon, patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG. You can chip a couple bucks in. You get access to our show notes every week. You get access to a whole nother show with us, our pre-show we record for you guys and post it up for the patrons. So you get to listen to that. And when I have cool stuff to send out, you get put on my mailing list so I can send some stuff out to you. This next one might be a little bit late. Kind of ties into my rant a little bit. But the last round I had some tokens made, and it takes a while to get them printed, and the program that I used to make them is now no longer available, so
has been ceased and desisted.
Yeah. Awkward.
Very awkward.
Yeah. So next round might be a little bit late, but it is coming. So if you guys want to get in on any of that, if it sounds appealing to you, or if you just like the work that we do and you want to chip a couple bucks in to support us, we'd really appreciate that. Patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG.
Yes.
We got anything else going on we got to tackle before we get into the show?
I don't think so.
All right.
So let's talk about our limited impressions.
Yeah, how about the limited impressions?
I think that the first thing I would say is the format feels a little samey. Like, I feel like a lot of the decks are very similar.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're so incentivized to go big that
the archetypes don't super matter.
Yeah, they don't really matter. It's like, can you cast, like, this 8-drop in your deck?
Yeah. When we went over the limited archetypes in our mechanics episode, or I guess not the mechanics episode, but part 1 of our set review episode, you know, we had kind of talked about like blue-black is draw 2 cards, and, you know, white-black is like power 3 or less or whatever it is. But like none of that stuff matters because every color combination just wants to get to like 7 or 8 mana and jam a big thing.
Yeah. Now, I have lost to like my opponent played like the 3/4 mythic that like makes soldiers whenever it attacks, even number of soldiers you control.
Mm-hmm.
And then they cast the 6 mana, make 4 soldiers, and then attack me.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And then the next turn they played the 5-drop that gives all your creatures mana value 3 or less +1/+0 and attacked me for like 25.
Ouch.
Yeah, so like it can happen. I've been run over like once or twice. But for the most part, everything just feels like, hey, like you got to get to 7 or 8 and then play like whatever big things you drew.
Mm-hmm.
It also has this like weird vibe of like, and I think I said this for other sets too. It is very much modern Magic where it's like you never run out of things to do with your mana.
Right.
You never run out of cards because like if you don't have cards in your hand, don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
You have cards in your graveyard that you can like spend your mana on.
Well, typically, like in a limited environment, we have like a cycle of cards, like the invokers, where it's like a low mana value creature with like a huge mana value activated ability. In this set, the blue one is like 2 and a blue for like a 2/5, 2/3 or whatever. 7 mana.
7 draw 2 cards.
Draw 2 cards. But like with all the power stones, I mean that 7 mana is trivial. Like that card draws so many cards.
I've not played with or against it. Maybe I should prioritize it.
Yeah.
But you also just have like, there's always something with Unearth in your graveyard, right? And like some of the Unearth creatures also draw you cards.
That
and it's just
is it Power Plant Worker is the big one, the 5 mana one?
That you can dump mana into.
Yeah, like that's a perfectly fine mana sink. That card's not embarrassing. I think I don't know if it's actively good, but I'm not sad to have to include it in a deck.
I think that like the aggressive archetypes have a hard time because there's a lot of incidental life gain in this format. And like I'm a huge fan of Boulder Branch Golem.
Yep.
Like it just like stabilizes you
instantly
when it's a 4-drop or when it's a 7-drop.
Yep.
And it's just like, okay, I guess I just get to gain like 3 life and have a 3/3. I guess I will like nullify an attack by gaining 3 life and then eat one of your attackers next turn.
Yep.
And then that gets me closer to casting my second one and gaining 6 life.
Yep.
And like, you know, nullifying like an entire combat step.
Yep. And like to kind of expand upon your incidental life gain thing, like your colorless 2 mana 2/1 like incidentally has tap gain a life.
Gain a life.
Like that card's not embarrassing to play either.
No, like you can it's a 2/1. It trades for something. Like that's kind of what you want your 2-drop to do.
And it goes in any
like,
deck because it's colorless.
Yeah, like can you please trade with something? And he's like, sure. And if I can't, I'll just gain you a life. And it's like, thanks, buddy. Good job.
The best little mind worker.
Yeah. Also, is it Mask of the Jade Crafter?
Oh, that card's a house.
That card's amazing. I got like 2 my first draft, and I was like, I think this card is good. I don't know why I'm getting it so late. And it is just bonkers. It's just a 2-for-1.
Yep.
Right? A bunch of these cards are just like full-on or secret 2-for-1s.
Yep.
I've drafted 4 times, and I've talked about it in my videos, like Scrapwork Rager. Like, that card is Phyrexian Rager.
Yep.
For 1 extra mana, but it's colorless, so it goes in anything.
Any deck.
And then you unearth it and you get another card. So it is like a divination attached to a creature. It's kind of like super expensive Mole Drifter. And like if you can just trade it for something when you play, like, here's my 2/2 that drew me a card, block, trade for anything. I'm going to 6 turns later when I don't have anything to do, I guess I'll pay 4 life and pay 4 mana, get a card back.
Yep.
Attack you, or like, God forbid you have like synergies, like you have the Skyfisher spider and you're like, well, I will get this back and feed it to my spider and kill a thing.
Yeah.
Right, there's just all this little like value spots to go around. So like the actual cards that were designed to be in this limited environment all kind of skew go big.
Yep.
And the format feels like glacially slow, like one of the slower formats we've played in a long time.
Yeah, I mean it's super bomb heavy, which
Mhm.
incentivizes a late game, and there's a bunch of catch up mechanisms which incentivize a late game. Um, and like there's lots of ramp that incentivizes a late game.
And like the 5 mana make 3 Power Stones. Oh, you just gain 3 life while you're at it.
Yeah,
Cool, thanks. So I don't die before I get to then cast my 9 drop
right.
that like stabilizes the board.
Yep.
Or my 7 drop that gains me 6 life and stabilizes the board, which is a common.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had 2 of those and an obstinate Bailoff. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna gain like a ton of life this game. Like, good luck trying to kill me. Like, I'm gonna gain 16. Can you kill me twice?
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, I probably can't kill you twice. Excellent. Correct answer. But yeah, like so everything just feels big. Which is like I'm usually down for that. But I think we both said that like this format hasn't like grabbed us.
Yeah.
And been like, oh man, like I wanna like do another draft. I'm very much being like, I'm gonna play this like C-level PlayStation game that I have as opposed to like do this format, partly because like it's so slow that like doing a draft a lot of times you're like committing like at least like an hour and a half.
Yeah. It
Like
takes
I've
so
had
long.
hour and 45-minute drafts to go 4-3.
Yeah.
And it's just like this is like forever taking. Like
Mhm.
why is this so long? It doesn't make any sense. So that's a little weird.
Yeah.
As well. The other thing, is so they put 63. I guess we only get 62 or something because they don't get Mishra's Bobble.
Well, so I think Mishra's Bubble was supposed to be included for draft purposes, but it wasn't coded that way, so it's just
Yeah.
not on Arena.
Yeah. I think you can craft it.
Well, it's not legal anywhere.
Oh, is it not legal in Historic Brawl?
I don't think so. I don't think it's legal
Okay.
anywhere.
Okay.
I think it was only to be included for the draft environment.
And they messed that up. They're like,
Yeah.
oopsie. So I have lost more games to infuriating BS.
Yeah.
That is not in the set than I have like to cards in the set. Like I think if you like put my like if you looked at my drafts that have like got beat by Swiftfoot boots or like dumb weird combo
Mm-hmm.
that like came together from 2 cards not in the set versus like me losing 2 cards that were like designed for this limited environment, I would say of my like 12 losses, 6 of them are just the like dumb things not in the set.
Yeah. Now, we had Strixhaven that also had like this weird extra set within a set. I don't super remember Strixhaven Limited. Was it kind of the same way where
There were a few that were like, man, you open like whatever bomby card and now like now I'm in a world of hurt. But there weren't any that were like I think as oppressive and like it didn't feel like they were as frequent. Maybe they were.
yeah.
But it just like it feels like there are so many of these.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was one in every pack for Strixhaven too.
Okay, it didn't feel like that. Maybe
So-
because some of them weren't like
Well, I think
as impactful.
part of the problem is when you're in Strixhaven, the spell slot number 1 only accounts for a small portion of your deck. Like you're playing, 15 to 18 creatures and then, a significantly less number of spells. So there's not a large portion of your deck that can include those. And then on top of that, they're colored. So like that spell slot is spread across 5 colors. Whereas in this set, they're all colorless. So just every one of them can go in every single deck. So it's like every one that you see has a possibility of getting played in your deck because they're just colorless. Which might like make it feel like there's more of them in there.
Yeah, it might just be that you have that it is that it feels like you're just seeing them. I'm seeing them more because uh, it'll be well. Okay, so here we go. In the 15 card limited packs, where's okay. So in either pack, the slot can be a common, 60, uncommon 67%, rare. Okay, so I guess they were in every pack.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just don't see them as much. But like, there were definitely times where like it felt like you lost to the mythic ones more, right? Like if somebody got like a natural order, they also had to get like a thing to natural order into, or like a channel, right? And like, what did you channel into in that format? Like nothing,
Right.
right? And here, like some of the cards are just like win conditions. Like Swift foot boots is like an abomination. Like I have just lost games that like I like played 2 reach blockers, and my opponent was like removal spell, put Swift foot boots on the dragon engine, and then every turn it was just like dump 10 mana into the flying dragon engine guy.
Yeah.
And like hit you for 6. I'm just like I have 2 removal spells in my hand. I just can't kill this thing.
Right.
Or you said you got Platinum Angel twice?
Yeah, with Swiftfoot boots. Good luck taking care of that in this format.
Yeah, it's just like I had someone looping Elsewhere Flask with Scrap Trawler.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Like they'd sack the flask, block with Scrap Trawler, get the flask back, play the flask, sack it, buy back the Scrap Trawler some way, block with Scrap Trawler, I'm just like, oh, this is awful.
Yeah.
Or like Staff of Domination. I've not played against that, but just dumb. So like
what are the modes on Staff of Domination? It's untap itself, untap
like
a permanent,
untap itself,
do a damage, draw a card, something like that.
It's like untap itself, tap something, draw a card, and then something else.
Okay.
So like with enough mana, you can just like in this format, mana is not an issue.
Right.
Right. You can just be like, you know, draw a card or 2 every turn.
Yeah.
Or like tap down their thing, untap staff, draw a card.
Yeah.
I think that's like 8 mana to do that. And like I've definitely had 8 mana laying around multiple times. So yeah, I don't know. It just feels like the frequency that they show up just feels like it comes down to like I compared it to like Cube.
Yeah.
Where like, did you open Soul Ring? Neat.
Right.
You get to like have the best deck at the table if you like have any semblance of a reasonable deck.
Yeah.
And this a lot
Staff
of times feels like
something also. I thought that I had somebody go infinite with it against me. So it's pay 1 to untap it, pay 2 and tap it to gain a life, pay 3 and tap it to untap a creature, 4 and tap it to tap a creature, 5 and tap it to draw a card.
like with the thing that like taps to add green equal to its power.
Yeah.
If you make like you can make it taps for if it like has 6 power, you just like can go.
Yep.
Or no, you just need 4 power or something.
4.
5.
Yeah, something like that.
4? And
4?
you just like get to make infinite mana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't know, like that. I don't know. It just feels like blah. Like it feels like you're like if your Mystical Archive slot or whatever these are called, right? Are like if you like got an Ornithopter, like, hey, I got a blank in what could have been the best card in my deck.
Right.
Right? Like it almost feels bad like taking a rare from the set.
Could have had a Worm Coil Engine.
Yeah, or like some of the uncommons in that slot are like, oh, like
Boundary Inspector. Like makes every card in the format cheaper.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels bad. Again, Swiftfoot boots.
Yeah.
Like just I can't say Swiftfoot boots. I can't say it. But that card is just like, oh hey, you can't interact.
Yeah.
Neat. Or you need 2 removal spells. You need to kill the equipment and then kill the thing the equipment was attached to.
Right.
And it's like, am I gonna have that? Oh, we had talked about before the format started. If you can main deck just enchantment removal, or sorry, artifact removal, like I think disenchant is premium removal in this format.
The 4-mana sorcery speed one, I think, is premium
Exile,
removal.
the green one, the 3 and a green.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've gotten like rocked by it, and it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
like
Not only
it doesn't-
can you, I think you have to.
yeah, I've done a bad job of that in my drafts. Like I've talked about it, but then just like not done it.
Yeah.
But like I think that like those are probably better than the like the Power Stone Fracture or like the black removal spell that like gets cheaper for your.
Well, I mean, it depends. The black ones are pretty
It's
good, and in
They are,
in
but,
the
like-
right deck, like the black ones are actively better. But like
Mhm.
the red one, that's like 3 mana, blow something up, blow up an artifact, and then if it was CMC 1, you get to like draw a card or something. Like
They
that's
can't
better.
be countered.
Yeah,
Like raised to the ground.
that's better than the black removal is in most draft formats.
Fair, yeah. So, yeah, I think that, like, because you do end up with these decks that are, like... I keep ending up with decks that are, like, 12 artifacts.
Mhm.
And, like, 10 non-artifacts or 11 non-artifacts.
Yeah.
Right, like, your destroy target artifact hits, like, half your opponent's deck.
Yeah. Like-
And also, dear listener, I ran the experiment for you. It doesn't matter if you have 13 artifacts in your deck. Forging the Anchor always misses. Always. Just don't like I've just paid 3 mana to look at the like bottom 6 cards or 5 cards of my deck. Don't do it.
Yeah.
I've run that experiment for you.
I don't know. It seems
yeah,
like because the format's super bomb heavy, the removal is better than normal, or like the removal is more important than normal because you're just if you don't have removal, you're just going to lose to whatever bomb your opponent resolves, and because the removal is better, it makes like we were just talking about those odds and ends like disenchant or blow up an artifact or whatever, like those cards go up in value. So like were I to still be interested in playing limited, I think I would probably start with that kind of stuff, and then just take whatever bomb you end up with, because like there's so many of them, you're gonna end up with something.
Yeah, it might very well be that like as I continue to draft, it might be that like disenchant just becomes like first pickable.
I don't know if it's necessarily first pickable, but it's up there. Like it's first half of packable for sure.
Yeah, we're like, if you have like let's say a so rare and then like a bunch of like gold uncommons, and you're just like, I can just take disenchant and like this is perfectly fine. This like kills the white removal spell, the pacifism.
Mm-hmm.
It kills
the blue removal
almost
spell.
every mythic.
Yep.
Right, the blue removal spell. It kills all the mythics.
Yep.
That like get played, right? And the colorless mythics, they're colorless. You're putting them in your deck.
Right.
Right. Even if they have like an off-color prototype cost, you're just like, fine, I'm gonna get to 8 mana anyway.
Yep. Or 9.
I don't care. Like I don't need to prototype it.
Yep.
So like they play their 9/9, and you're just like, okay, I'll pay 2 mana and kill it.
Mm-hmm.
And because of how expensive everything is, like even the 4 mana sorcery speed green spell trades up on mana.
A lot of time, yeah.
Right?
And it gets around on Earth.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I have noticed that like I have done a bad job of drafting like, good artifacted enchantment removal. I've taken good creature removal, but then just been like, man, I could have probably got this other spell like, later. Like I could have got this like artifacted removal spell could have taken care of this stupid Staff of Domination, or again, the bane of my existence, swift foot boots, and I can't say it still. I'm a doctor who has marbles in his mouth apparently, but yeah, I it doesn't seem like, and we've talked about this, it doesn't seem like there's like an aggressive deck that I've really seen.
Yeah.
I've gotten like run over ish by like black red that like uh junkyard geniused me.
Mm-hmm.
But then I've also like easily beaten the black red junkyard genius deck where it's just like, oh, like you didn't have enough things to like be able to attack. Okay.
Yeah.
Like this doesn't matter.
It ran out of juice before, it ran out of juice before you played your 7-drop or whatever the stable.
Yeah, exactly. Like they got you to like 8 and you're like, I'll be at 14 with a 6/5, and they're like, oh.
Yeah. Can't ever beat that.
That's a problem. I guess I'll give my 2 guys menace, and it's like, that's fine. I guess I'll take 4 or 6 or whatever, and I'll be back at 8, and I'll play another one.
Yeah.
Now what do you do? And they're just like, So, yeah, like, it seems like those decks kind of have the tools to get under you, but, like, if you focus on, like, hey, I'm going to make sure I draft some 2-drops that can block, then you're fine.
Yeah. I actually
Right,
kind of like that the black 2-drop that's 2/1 that gets a counter when you sack something.
Mm-hmm.
Like that guy not uncommonly turns into like a 6/5 just throughout the course of a normal game.
Yeah, no, I've definitely had them get big on me and just been like, oh, this is a pain.
Yeah.
This is no good. But for the most part, like, I've lost to like blue-white soldiers where they've just played like a bunch of flyers or had like they had the guy that like when it enters you can return a creature to your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the 3-drop that like mills 3 and like puts it, so like they were like, oh, like play my 3-drop, bounce it, and like they were able to accrue value, and they just only had flyers.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, my army of little nerds, giant guys on the ground can't keep up with all these flyers.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, that wasn't, like, they had, like, the soldier keyword.
Right.
Or the soldier, like, type. But it wasn't a soldier deck. It was just blue-white flyers.
Yeah.
So, like, as of right now, like, I feel like the aggressive deck's kind of missed.
Yeah, I mean, same
Maybe
thing
that'll
like
change.
with the tempo decks. Like, I don't think that the tempo decks are. Like, I've certainly played against some good like blue-red with the new young pyromancer.
Third Path Iconoclast.
Yeah, but I don't think they're not as good as playing an 8-drop.
I've been terrified that people were gonna like play the 2 mana like mana leak a creature or artifact spell, and I've just not seen it.
Yeah,
like I've not had anyone I just kind of like tap 7 mana with impunity. Like it's just nothing's ever been countered.
Yeah,
and like maybe there are the tools for like the blue-white flyery deck where you're just like, I have like 3 of these, and like I'm gonna eat your 7-drop.
And
then
I
win
think
the
that's
game that
more
way.
of the blue-black control deck. There is definitely like 100% a blue-black control deck because you have what's the blue part of the corrupt cycle, the one that like draws cards equal the number of islands you control.
Oh yeah. I don't know what it's called, but yeah.
Like that card's a house, and you have corrupt, which is like a way to close out a limited game in a hurry, especially when you have something like Elsewhere Flask that can like turn all of your lands into swamps.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the
Urza's Rebuff is a card that like if it's not a counter spell for a threat, it buys you a turn and taps a couple things down. The black draw 2, lose 2, or give -1/-1 to the team. Like that's a perfectly reasonable Magic card, and I think it's good in this limited format. So like I think that deck has a lot of tools too. It's a little bit harder to put together because the pieces don't like super jump out at you while you're drafting it. But that deck is certainly there also.
I've also like I've only seen one like trigger for drawing a second card. No, I've only played 24 games. Yeah. But I've only seen one trigger for draw your second card this turn.
It's really not that hard to turn on there's enough stuff that loots. Urza and Mishra, the uncommon ones, both loot. And I think the uncommon Urza is good.
Yeah.
And then you have is it Stern Lesson is the blue 3-drop divination type thing.
Draw 2, make a power stone, discard a card, yeah.
And then, like I said earlier, the one that's like a 7-mana activate ability, draw 2 cards. Like that's not unheard of to be activated. I don't know that the payoffs for that deck are worth it, but
yeah, like I've just not seen it.
Yeah,
like it's just like I've played a reasonable amount, and it's like I've seen that trigger happen like once, and it's like, oh, did they like super miss with this?
Yeah.
Though the blue-black uncommon for that set, like if they ever give blue or white another good vehicle, like that is like the perfect like Esper Greasefang kind of card.
Yeah.
Where it's like, now I have Rafine's Informant and this thing, like I'm always going to be looting on 2, and it like works really well with what's he called? The bird guy, Ledger Shredder.
Yep.
Right, you play this, you loot, the next turn you're like, Ledger Shredder, and then like cast another spell, and like, oh no, I have a 3/3. But because blue, there's not another like, there's not a what is it called? A Zeki's Chariot type vehicle.
Right.
You don't get that, but that card's just like floating around like, hey, I'm pretty good. So yeah, I think the format will probably change to because it seems like there are the tools to maybe be tempo or controlling. Maybe everyone just now is like, I go big, but like I don't know how you go little, and have it like not just be outclassed.
Well, I think the space is there for the control deck to be good because nobody's going little. Like if everyone's just trying to cast their 7, 8, 9 drops, like you said, that the 2-mana leak gets pretty good when people are casting 8 drops. And like a 3-mana counter spell's not that bad when you're trading for 7 mana worth of stuff.
Yeah, like I've just been surprised that I haven't seen it happen.
Yeah.
So
I had one that I did all right with. I think it was a 4/3 deck.
And I feel like they got there with the green-black deck.
Yeah, finally.
Like the green-black Graveyard Madness deck is actually pretty good. Right? Like they really tried to like, we gotta make this not suck, and they did a pretty good job.
I mean, like that spider's pretty pushed.
Oh yeah. The spider.
And I don't think one of my drafts green-black without the spider.
No. I had someone who had 3 spiders plus 2 emergency welds.
Yeah.
And I was just like, make it stop. Make it stop. Like every time I resolved something, it just got spidered. I was like, oh my gosh, the spider ate like 5 things. And they had clay revenants.
Yeah.
So they were just looping. I was just like, God, this is awful. It doesn't matter what I do, there's always a spider.
Yep.
The 2/3 Hoarding Recluse with Death Touch, I've been impressed with that card. Right, it's just like
it's a removal spell.
Right, like yeah, it trades with all like the giant things. It like lets you get an unearthed card out of their graveyard, or like put a good card like back into your deck, especially like if you have like an Evolving Wilds to shuffle it in.
Yep.
But like that card was just like solid. It's like, oh, like I want one of these because if they play a flyer, like I need to be able to deal with it, and that's a good way to be able to deal with it. So that card has been pretty good.
Yep.
I can't think of anything else that jumped out at me. Again, other than like just look at your old border slot, because there's a chance that it is better than anything else that you have in your pack. So just keep that in mind.
Yep. So if that's it for limited, are we gonna move on to the rant?
Oh, we can wind you up and let you go.
Well, you can jump in too.
Okay. I'll come in off the top rope. The elbow's ready.
Okay. So what the hell is Wizards doing? Like,
I have no idea. They don't know.
they certainly have a plan. I think the plan is to incinerate any goodwill the community has left. It just
Hey,
seems
but if it
like,
helps them lose half their stock price, go for it.
well, I mean, that's part of this whole thing. Like, I think we talked, I don't know if it was last week or the week before or whatever, but like Magic 30 in Vegas was not a success by many, many, many accounts from people that were there.
Yeah, like it was. I think we might have said this in the pre-show, and I saw someone tweet about this. And it was an interesting take that like people who are content creators
Mm-hmm.
and whose livelihood is tied up in Magic not being terrible
Yeah.
were like, "Hey, this is a pretty cool event." But like, it seemed like the normal people, the normies,
Yeah.
were like, "This isn't all that good. This kind of sucked."
Yeah. It
Right?
was
And it's like,
overly
okay,
expensive. Um, the tables were simultaneously crowded and empty.
like apparently the Commander Clash people from MTG Goldfish were playing not in the venue.
Well, yeah, they charged an entry fee to get into the command zone, and it wasn't like $10. It was like $100 or something. So everyone's like, yeah, we're not gonna do this, and they like went in the hallway of the event center and were like playing Commander on the floor or organizing parties like in hotel lobbies.
Yeah. Like,
But because they had this like whole section like roped off for the command zone, it put a super crunch on all of the side events.
and like I saw some stuff that like there were a lot of side events that were like poorly run, and like people were like waiting for their eighth for their draft, but then they like couldn't drop
Mm-hmm.
to like go into another event
Yeah. And like
and
there was
stuff.
some weird stuff with the event hall where they like got kicked out early and like couldn't finish events and stuff. But
Yeah.
like the reason I bring this up during my rant is because this was supposed to be like the getting back to playing paper Magic event, right? It was supposed to be a celebration of everything that made Magic great and kind of sucked.
I mean, there's going to be one in Philly. They moved it from Charlotte to Philly
Yeah.
so they could have a bigger convention center.
Yeah. So I guess
And
we'll
like
see.
part of me is like, I want to go, kind of like part of me wanted to go to DreamHack.
Yeah.
But then it's just kind of like, how is it going to turn out? Do I really want to do this?
Yeah.
Like, do I want to like Philly's like 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long time in a car.
Yeah.
To like go to maybe like an event.
Right.
So, yeah, like, but yeah. From what I heard, it was like, again, like, if your livelihood was tied up on it, on like people enjoying Magic, you were like, this was awesome. And if you're just a normal person, you're like, this is bad. And it's like, yeah, I guess you have different incentives if you're like a streamer.
Right.
Like, please don't hate this game. Please come watch me. I need your donations.
Yeah.
Please, I need your donations.
So the next thing that we have here is the Magic 30th anniversary like booster packs, the proxies, are kind of a disaster, and I don't think anybody knows what to make of them yet. We talked last week. I mentioned, I don't know if it was in the pre-show or the actual show, there was like a Mox Pearl that was graded that sold for like $3,000.
Yeah, which is just insanity. Yes.
Well, so I guess like that turned out to not be a legitimate sale. It turned out to be somebody trying to run the price up.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Mox Jet that didn't, or that's I think sold for $800 or something, which is considerably less than $3,000 for arguably a better Mox.
Mm-hmm.
And then so that's like a step, like the Pearl was a step in the up direction, and then the Jet was a step back in the down direction. But then there was a sold listing for a natural order, or not a natural order. What's the bird guy?
The bird guy?
Yeah, the green card, the bird guy, natural.
Oh God, I don't know.
Natural Connection.
Uh,
It's a reserve list beta card.
Naturals, not natural state, not Jukai Naturalist, naturalize. I don't know. I don't know.
Whatever it is, it's a card that didn't make it to revised. It was Alpha Beta Unlimited. It's on the reserve list.
Okay.
That card, I think there was a sale for that card for like $80, where like you can buy a normal version of that card for less than $80. So you have like the Pearl that wasn't a legitimate sale. You've got the Jet that like maybe like a collector's edition might be worth like approximately what it sold for.
Natural selection.
Natural selection, that's what it is. And then this natural selection like sold for more than what you can buy a legitimate one for. So I don't think anybody like super knows what to make of this product yet, other than like everybody seems to hate it.
So your like description of like not a legitimate sale, like just like kind of pump and dump. This reminds me of NFTs, right? Where like, you know, for 6 months all we heard was like NFTs are the future, NFTs, and now it's like, you know, Justin Bieber's $1.3 million NFT is now worth $67,000 or $69,000, and like it's like how many of these sales money actually change hands? Apparently, like. Remember, like, when Beeple sold, like, an NFT? I don't know if you know who Beeple is.
I don't, but...
So Beeple is a digital artist who, like, his thing is he makes one piece of art every single day. And he's done it for years. And so he sold an NFT of all of his work for some crazy amount of money. For $69 million.
Ooh.
And it turns out that the person that Beeple sold it to, he's like a business partner of.
Oh, okay.
Like they've worked together.
Yeah.
Right. So, right, it wouldn't surprise me if the like, you know, the $3,000 Pearl sale was like, I put Mox Pearl on eBay. And I said, hey, James, bid this Mox Pearl up.
Well, so, like, the weird thing about that sale is I guess now it's confirmed to, like, have been not a legitimate sale. But it was from, I think, the biggest Magic seller on eBay. It was a Kid Icarus sale. And I know, like, I bought stuff from Kid Icarus back, like, way back when, off eBay.
But, like... You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't surprise me if this kind of thing's happening. Like, if you, let's say, you know, that you're a large Magic the Gathering purchaser, right? And you know, passed out and hit like 100 on the keyboard and hit buy.
Yeah.
And you're in for $100,000 of these stupid packs, right? It behooves you to be like, yo, I need these Moxen to sell for like dumb money because I have bought way too much of this product.
Yeah.
And I need natural selections to sell for more than original natural selections because I have way too many of these.
Yeah.
Right? So like, you know, it's an unregulated market, right? Like just
exactly, yeah.
And there's not and no one knows how many of these things that there are, right?
And I don't think anybody's ever going to know.
Yeah.
Even if they flop, Wizards is still going to say it was a massive success.
But you don't know if there are 100 new Mox Pearls,
right?
Heavy air quotes on Mox Pearls,
right?
In the world, or if there are 10,000 new Mox Pearls in the world.
Well, I think you can just call them Mox Pearl proxies.
Right. You don't know how many Mox proxies there are.
Yeah.
Right? And so you're like, you don't know. Should they be $50? Should they be $5? Should they be $5,000? They shouldn't be $5,000.
Right.
But, right? So, like, you're just in this weird place where you don't know. and like you're buying stuff on like very little information.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but this whole product is not a good look.
Yeah.
Um,
So like
I think
all of that pump and dump like market manipulation stuff aside, I think like the general attitude towards this product is that it's garbage. Even from like finance people. I have heard that this product is just garbage and nobody wants to touch it.
mhm.
So Magic 30 Vegas seemed like kind of a bust when you talk to people on the street. The 30th anniversary packs seem like kind of a bust when you talk to, people who might be interested in this product, plus some weird sketchy stuff with like pump and
Yeah.
dumps on prices.
Also, one more thing about Magic 30.
Yeah.
What is the thing that Wizards of the Coast does? They move cardboard.
Right.
And so you spent extra money on your fancy Black Lotus package,
Mm-hmm.
and they stuck in whatever company Wizards paid to stuff cards in bags,
Mm-hmm.
apparently just folded them in half. All these people were taking pictures of cards that were just mangled
Yeah.
from where, like, I don't know, they had some poor minimum wage worker, and they were like, you've got to stuff 5,000 bags an hour. And we're just like, oh my God, I gotta. And just smashed a bunch of cards. And it's like, oh yeah, we'll send you a replacement. It's just like, you could have not screwed it up in the first place.
Yeah.
So just like little things like, hey, we value as a customer. Here's broken stuff in your swag bag.
Right.
So thanks.
And then last week in the pre-show, we talked a little bit about it was like a whole finance pre-show, but we talked about the Hasbro stock being double downgraded by an analyst, which then a bunch of news companies like picked up the story and did their own interviews and ran with, and ended up with Hasbro taking a massive hit to their stock price.
Now, I have seen some people, some Magic nerds have now done a deep dive on the deep dive.
Oh yeah.
And like it seems like some of the stuff you talked about was like, I went to 2 Targets in New York and they have just like a bunch of old Magic product that hasn't sold. Right? Like, so he may not have been the most as I may have speculated, maybe he plays Magic. It's probably clear based on stuff that like he does not play Magic and does not perhaps have the best window into the hobby.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about this in the pre-show last week, some about how like that information might have been gathered or whatever. I would find it suspect that whoever is, making this sort of claim as a finance analyst used stopping at 2 Targets on their way to work as research. I don't know if I buy that.
I have not read the report. This is what I've seen multiple people say was found in the report, but I've not read it.
Yeah.
Which makes me just as guilty as if it is faulty, like, analysis, as then all of the news organizations that ran with it and tweeted the story.
Yeah.
And like, because your analyst on CNBC, Jim Cramer's like probably reading the headline and then smashing the sell button.
Yeah.
And like, isn't like, this is 2 Targets. Like, that seems a little Yeah. So, it might not have been the best, but it is if you look at everything they've done for the last 2 years, right? We've all thought like, okay, this is geared to one thing and one thing only, and that is driving the stock price up, right? Make as much money as we can so we can go back to our shareholders and say, look, profits are up year over year, growth, yay. And their stock price has just like gone downhill, like
way off the deep end.
50% value loss over the course of a year.
Yeah.
Like, that is like fireable kind of levels of malfeasance.
Yes. I mean, yeah, that's almost legal territory. Like, there's almost a claim for a lawsuit there.
Yeah, like it is unbelievably bad.
Yeah.
And like, it's kind of obvious they can't print their way out of this problem. because they've tried for 2 years and it has caused the problem.
Kind of what got them there.
Yeah.
So like the common theme that like these 3 points that I've made so far is like they're burning a lot of the goodwill in the community. They're just incinerating it. This Magic 30 event was supposed to be this big celebration of 30 years of Magic and a big celebration of getting back to paper events, and seems like it was kind of a train wreck. And the 30th anniversary packs might have been a good idea under different circumstances with a different distribution plan or something, but the way they did it like served to do absolutely nothing except put money in their pockets and piss the community off.
It is, I think the Magic 30 product is, or 30th anniversary product is like all comes down to price point. Right? If they made it $50, people were like, oh, super cool, I have a chance to get proxies for my commander deck.
Yeah.
Neat. At $100, people are still saying that. Right? But like at $1,000, it just looks greedy.
Yeah.
And like, this product is not for me, kind of thing. And it's like, well, who is this product for?
Yep.
Yeah, like, and also like to go even a little bit further back, right? Like like what they did to organize play over the course of like from like 2018 to now.
Yeah.
Where like every 6 months to a year they renamed stuff. They like made a league and then didn't promote it and didn't like actually turn people over in it.
Right.
And just like organized play went from this thing that, when we started the podcast almost 4 years ago now, right, that like we were doing episodes on, hey, this is what we're going to play at this tournament. Like we did a whole episode on like a legacy sideboard guide for like green black depths.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, at the time we were traveling to multiple weekend events a month.
It was like, oh, hey, there's a PTQ like 3 hours away. Like, okay, we can do that.
Yep.
And like COVID, notwithstanding, like I have no idea when there has been a PTQ around us.
I think there was one in Florence this past weekend.
Okay.
I think I heard that.
We used to like go get the schedule and check.
I mean, we would like have a party where we all sat down and planned out what events we would be going to for the upcoming year. And
now it's, I think I heard a guy say there was like an event at Florence maybe.
Yeah.
Right? And so like that's just very different. And like they kind of burnt the goodwill from the competitive players. And they're trying to get it back, but you've like so injured it's hard to get those players back. And then Magic 30 is like honestly geared more towards casual players, I think. And you burnt them.
Yep.
Magic 30th anniversary is just an abomination. So you burn everyone.
Yep.
Right? And then that has all culminated in the double downgrade in your stock price going down 50%, which now you've burnt your shareholders. Yep. So they've just taken a blowtorch to like all of their constituencies.
Well, so there was some more news that came out on Friday that Card Conjurer is a site where you can make custom cards. And honestly, that's mostly what it's used for, is making custom cards that don't exist, like the famous Star Wars cube that somebody made that's all like Star Wars themed with custom cards. Yep, those cards that Brian's holding up right there are Patreon givebacks that I made using Card Conjurer. If you're watching our YouTube video, our custom cards with our faces there were made on Card Conjurer. They got a cease and desist because you can also use it to make pretty realistic looking proxies if you wanted to. And
James is a good member of the community. He has the backs are always our logo.
Yeah.
So no one's gonna see one of these and be like, "Oh, this might be a real Magic card."
Yeah, no, definitely not.
So good job.
Definitely not
But
a
yeah,
real
like
Magic card.
you could use it to make proxies, and people did that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
I mean, that it comes at really suspicious timing where Wizards has decided to get into the proxy game themselves and sell $1,000 booster boxes with 4 packs of proxies in them. And oh yeah, by the way, little guy with a website, close your site down.
yeah, you're infringing on our copyrights. It's like he's been doing this for a while. It's weird that it just kind of like came out and
Yeah,
was
I mean,
like,
Card
"Hey,
Conjurer's been up for years.
like, hey, don't do that."
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know that they're not proxies, but the oh gosh, words are hard. All the secret layers are like they're I think we settled on they're more like altars, but
They're in the same space though.
yeah, but like it's a way for you to like customize your deck to show some personality.
Mm-hmm.
And Card Conjurer allowed you to do that same thing,
Mm-hmm.
where you could customize your deck in some way, right? Like maybe you love the tattoo pithing needle art,
Mm-hmm.
but all of the cards in your deck were old border.
Right.
So you're like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use Card Conjurer to put this art in the old border. I'm going to print it in, with like this is a fake card back on it, and I'm going to put it in my commander deck. And if someone wants to give me crap, I can be like, no, here I have the card.
Yeah.
But everything else in my deck is old border. So I'm just trying to keep up an aesthetic.
Yep.
Right? And now Wizards like, no.
Yeah.
We need you to get that aesthetic from us. In very limited drop windows or from the secondary market. Thank you very much.
Or insanely priced in booster packs.
Yes.
Yes, realistically, that I think you're right about secret layers, but I think like what Card Conjurer was taken down for was not competing with secret layers. I think it was competing with proxies. Specifically because the Magic 30 packs don't have a magic back on them.
Yes.
Which kind of tells me two things. Number one is they don't care about community goodwill anymore because they just incinerated a whole bunch more of it. There was a whole lot of people that used Card Conjurer. And I know for a fact that I was not the only one that was upset when the guy that ran it announced that it was shutting down. There was a pretty large outcry when that happened. But also, like, what does that say for the future? Like, if they're going to put resources, even if I understand it doesn't take a whole lot to send a cease and desist out, but that's still time that they had to pay a lawyer to draft a cease and desist and drop it in the mailbox and send out. If they're willing to take the time to do that, does that give us any hints about like what Wizards might be doing in the future? Like, I mean, would not doubt if this was some stunt that they tried to pull again.
I mean, like, how legal is Scryfall?
Well, so that was I don't know if you had seen me tweet that out or not.
No.
That was so when this news broke, I kind of went on a spree and left a whole bunch of nasty comments all over the internet. But
Good job.
That was one of the things that I said, is that it would be a real shame if somebody made an archival database that was searchable, that had every version of every card, like Scryfall, like exactly like Scryfall, except instead of linking the art for cards from Gatherer that's not in a very high resolution or appropriately scaled for printing, maybe was in a very high digitally rendered configuration in appropriate scaling for printing.
Or, like, I don't know, like, you could, in theory, take. Now you couldn't add new art,
Mm-hmm.
but you could take like every version of every card and just like have Card Conjurer put them all together,
Mm-hmm.
and just like be able to search for like, you know, Pithing Needle, and it's just like every combination of frame and
Yeah.
like yeah, but like I don't know exactly the ins and outs of like does Scryfall like pull the image off of like Gatherer so it's fine, but like Scryfall is using Wizards art,
Yeah. It's
and
I think like all of the companies use the same general like framework for rules text, card art, oracle text, whatever, whether
mhm,
it's TCG Player, Channel Fireball, Card Kingdom, Scryfall, basically any site where you can look up a magic card, I think all pulls from the same database.
okay.
So the card image is always the same, the text is always the same, the collector number is always the same. I am not a web developer. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I
Neither,
think that's how
but
they do it.
I guess my thing is if WotC decided one day that having people go to Scryfall takes traffic away from Gatherer, and so
I mean, have you
we're
spent
gonna
a whole
make
lot of time on Wizards website? They probably want the traffic off of Gatherer.
this is fair. It's fair. Like Gatherer kind of doesn't function, but if they one day were like Scryfall, no,
Yeah.
cease and desist. We want people to have to use Gatherer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it is a slippery slope if they're going to kind of going after this guy,
Yeah.
and now like for again like just you're making fake cards and we want to make fake cards now.
Yeah.
But like you said, like I guess there's two paths, right? There's the like, is Wizards gonna go like hard against like everyone who uses their like, because like we got a lot of thumbnails
Mm-hmm.
that are like random art that I pulled off the internet with like the Brothers War logo
Yeah.
and the set symbol,
Well,
right? Like, are
like
they
most of the thumbnails that I've made, I try and use artwork from Wizards media kits, like the WPN media kits.
gonna?
So like that stuff is already approved for like community use.
Man, you're so good. I just Google, uh, but but I Google and hope, cross my fingers. Um, but yeah, like it's one of those things that like, so there's they go hard and they kind of go after everyone, and then does this mean that they want this guy out of the proxy space because they're going to be releasing uh, Arabian Nights proxies
Mm-hmm.
and Legends proxies, and Magic the Gathering, the early years,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like an Arabian Nights Legends Antiquities mashup,
I mean,
and then they're
yeah.
gonna have like the Urza War, and it's just like proxies of all of the Urza's stuff. It was like, hey, here's some Gaia's Cradles because they're $1,000 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that could be the way they're going.
Yep. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
So, not a good look.
Yep.
It is like just like bad after bad for a bit now.
Yeah. So, the theme of my rant is that Wizards is incinerating goodwill, right? Like everything that I have talked about is recent news that we've talked about on the show, and I'm sure you guys are all sick of hearing about it all. But like they're just lighting their player base on fire and using it to fuel who knows what earnings reports. I don't even know anymore. So I have a little story for you. I was actually kind of excited about Brothers War. It seems like there's some cool cards in there. I'm a big fan of old borders. There's all the retro border stuff. I thought the old border commander decks were kind of cool. And like you guys all know that I've had kind of a love-hate relationship with Magic for the last couple of years, and I kind of stopped buying sealed product. I was actually kind of looking forward to, picking up some sealed product and maybe cracking a couple booster packs of this set, because I haven't opened a booster pack in forever. So I was out flying my drone this weekend, and there's a big field behind Target where I like to fly my drone. So when I was done flying, I said, you know what? I'm going to stop by Target and, pick up a couple boosties and crack a couple for old time's sake. So I walk into Target and I'm standing in front of the aisle, and they got fat packs and they got collector boosters, set boosters, draft boosters, commander decks. And I think I decided that I don't want to give Wizards any money anymore.
Oh, man.
Yep. So I didn't, like, it just ruined. I had been excited to open some sealed product from this set, and I just decided not to. I think they made me angry. And they won't listen to what I say, so I'm just not gonna buy anything from them anymore. To the point where I almost don't want to buy singles until after the product's out of print, just to make sure that my dollars are not spent on anything that would trickle back to Wizards.
There is part of me, I had mentioned in the pre-show, that I got this big order of a bunch of stuff that I didn't even open.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I got here's a box of what are they called? Attractions. It's just chilling here. It's been on my desk since it showed up. I have an envelope full of cards.
Yeah.
I keep buying cards to have for my collection, but I also don't know when I'm going to utilize my collection.
Right.
And Wizards has done nothing to make me want to utilize my collection.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like we said, it used to be I'm going to go to F&M. And now I know that part of it is I'm perhaps overly cautious about COVID and getting sick for the baby and whatnot.
Yeah.
But there's still just I'm borderline, but Wizards has done nothing to push me over the edge for me to be you know what I want to do? I want to go play F&M every Friday.
Yeah. Sit in a room with a bunch of nerds.
Yeah, there's just been nothing that has they've done nothing to push me over that edge.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I don't know what it would take, but I think it would perhaps just making Magic matter more.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't matter as much.
Yep. So there's kind of one more thing.
Okay.
We talked about it just a little bit in the pre-show. But DreamHack was this weekend.
I heard.
And there was live coverage of Paper Magic.
I had no idea.
Yeah, well, this was another thing that I was excited about.
I think that I had heard, I was listening to the Arena Decklist podcast, and I think they recorded it on Tuesday or Wednesday, and they were oh yeah, there's coverage for DreamHack. I think they're going to announce the coverage teams in 2 days. Yeah. So literally as the event was starting.
Yeah.
It's oh.
I don't know if any of you guys watched it or not. It was I decidedly not great. It was I don't know, it was put on strangely. I was expecting OG Magic coverage, right? Obviously we're not going to have Cedric and P. Sully because they've moved on to bigger and better things, but maybe some B teams in the booth with a suit, talking Magic, sitting down with people, doing deck techs, whatever. Nope. It was streamed on a delay so that the coverage team could watch it and then do commentary over the top and then spit back out. Commentary was, I'm assuming, not wearing any pants because they were at home, not at the event. And not saying anything bad about anybody. I don't follow most of these people, but I think the only person that was worth listening to was Peavy. Everybody else was cringy and awkward and did not produce good commentary. Not that I could do better. It's just not what I was looking for from Magic coverage. And that's kind of a shame. Like DreamHack was supposed to be like PT replacement, right? Isn't that what DreamHack is? Or is like the new PT? I don't know.
DreamHack. So like,
it's bigger than an
these are
RPTQ, right?
These are the regional championships.
Yeah.
So basically, and this is another thing that kind of sucks, right? It used to be that you or I could go to a GP and play in a GP-sized event. That's what these RCs are now, are effectively GPs that you have to qualify to play in the main event.
Yeah.
And then from there, you can, like, qualify for, like, I think there was, like, a chunk that qualified for, like, the PT. And then if you were, like, at the top half of that chunk, you qualified for the thing above the PT as well.
Yeah, and like I think you could qualify for Worlds from this also.
Yeah, but like you like, you know, it's a little harder to get like, you know, it's a little harder to get in the car and drive 3 hours.
Yeah.
To qualify for effectively a GP.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, like you want to go play in a 700 person, you want to qualify to go play in a 700 person PT? No, I do not.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like cool to like play, like to just show up and play in a 700 person event.
Yeah.
That like you could feel good about finishing like 70th or 100th or something.
Yeah.
But like, do you want to like grind to qualify for this RC?
Right.
That is huge. And it's like, no, I don't really want to do that thing. I was trying to see who the who the coverage team was.
I wasn't super impressed with coverage. Like so much that I turned it off, and like I was excited for paper coverage for a Magic event, and it was just bad. Like because it was on a delay, there was like a bunch of gameplay mistakes that the players didn't catch and the judges didn't catch. That like were randomly caught, 10 minutes after the round ended, because that's when it went up on stream, and like chat decided to inform the commentators that there was a, game state violation that happened, that like a card should have been exiled and then wasn't, and like ended up being eaten out of a graveyard later for value, and like all types of stuff that like would never have happened in old Magic. So that was awkward. Like commentary stuff aside, we talked about that a lot in the pre-show. If you guys want to hear that, Rent, sign up for Patreon and listen to the pre-show.
Yeah, there we go.
But there was some more stuff that was wrong with this event, because
I also heard there was only like 5 floor judges.
Oh, I didn't hear that, but yeah, sure, we'll throw that on the pile too.
Like I had heard something where there weren't like a ton of floor judges. I also saw Autumn Burchett tweet that like it was a difficult environment to play.
Yeah.
Because it was like, you've got like Valorant tournaments going on in the hall. So like, usually like a Magic tournament, there is like a din of people talking and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I can't imagine like, boom, 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 kill streak being like screamed like over speakers as like you're trying to like figure out if you should like double block this stupid creature.
Yeah, that was part of what I heard, is that it was really loud in there. Made it hard to concentrate. I also heard that it was, and we kind of looked at the floor map and I guess deduced this already, but it was like shoved way in the back in a corner of the convention hall, so space was super limited. And because of that, they decided to reduce the table size to fit more tables in to accommodate more players. So like players' play mats were like hanging off the edges of tables, and they were like crammed next to each other to try and get games in. Like there wasn't enough room to actually play your games.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I guess there was people that didn't realize you had to purchase a DreamHack ticket to get in on top of your entry into the event. So there were a lot of very angry people that paid way more money than they were expecting. I'm sure there was people that didn't go or didn't get in because of that, but there was a lot of people that were angry that ended up paying a bunch more money than they were expecting to.
I saw those tweets when like the emails were sent out. It was like, hey, like you have to like pay to get in and then pay an entry fee.
Yeah.
And people were like, what the heck? Like I qualified for this tournament. Why are you now making me pay to play it?
Right. And then
it's like,
on top of that, you had mentioned like likening this to a GP, which I think is a pretty fair comparison. 3 years later, do you know the tournament structure for a Grand Prix? Or what a Grand Prix used to be?
What a Grand Prix used to be?
Yeah.
What do you mean, like...
What was day one?
How many 9... rounds? Well, it ended up being 8 rounds, and then you did one extra round that was, like, day 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it was effectively 9 rounds day 1.
Yep.
He played 15 rounds total, and then there was top 8.
Yep. And that was the same for every GP.
It was.
Because these are all run by different tournament organizers. Hang on just 1 second. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Right.
Because these are all being run by different tournament organizers, the tournament structures are different for them. And
what?
I heard that this was an absolutely abysmal tournament structure. Like, for the majority of people, there was no reason to continue playing after a certain point in the tournament, despite them having a decent record. I don't know what the specifics were, but I saw a lot of complaints about the tournament structure also just being awful.
Well, I mean, this is the Magic. This is the Magic Showdown. So is that what they were calling the like thing you qualified for, like the RC?
Oh, I don't know.
So there's regional championship. So there was like the Magic Showdown, which I can't even see like what the heck this even is. Yeah, this must be it. So $130,000 regional championship by invitation only, and then below it they call it the Magic Showdown, $130,000 payout. So, first place got 30 grand, a Worlds invite, a Pro Tour invite, and an RC number 2 invite, so they get invited to the next RC. Mm-hmm. Second place, a 15,000 Worlds Pro Tour RC. It paid to 64th place. Now, it does give you a Pro Tour invite down to 48th place.
Okay.
So that's good. Pro Tour invites used to only be for the top 8, but we had like a GP every weekend.
Right.
So I guess that changes the math somewhat. But like, yeah, like I got like $100 for finishing 100 something.
Mm-hmm.
Like the pay to like 64th place is kind of brutal.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, like I could see you being like 9-3, and just being like, why am I gonna bother? Like I can't. There's like no way I'm gonna finish like in the top 64.
Yep.
Just like, okay, I can like start home now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's like that is so weird that if you did the RC in Atlanta and you did the RC in Europe, you were playing in 2 different tournament structures that led to the same thing.
Yep.
Right, that's super weird, right?
Well, I mean, tournament structures dictated by the tournament organizer. It's not run by Wizards. It's run by whatever tournament organizer. Wizards doesn't have any say in their OP system anymore.
Then why did we hire Huey?
To build, I don't know about build this system, but to put this system together.
And then, like he put the system together and was like, well, if you don't need me anymore, I'm gonna go
his job was to outsource people.
Exactly. Like I'm just gonna like outsource this, and then you're gonna like bring me on to daily MTG every so often.
Yeah.
And like I will have the power of being Huey.
Yeah.
And people will have to listen to me. But yeah, that seems no good that it's not like a uniform system.
Yeah.
So all in all, the take home is that it feels like as we've been told over the years that like this product is not for you.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, like Magic is working very hard to make the entire Magic product not for us.
Yeah.
Right, just not for the players. And that was apparently, I didn't see this again. This was an Arena Decklist thing that I heard, that like poor Blake was like getting battered
Yes.
by people on daily MTG.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, you just like, not every product's for you. Skip the products that like you don't want to engage with, and that's fine. And people just started writing in the comments like, well, Magic's not a product for me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I should skip out on Magic since Magic is not a product for me.
Yeah.
And that is the risk you run when like you do this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
If they did one thing a year that was like kind of like the From the Vaults, that was like, hey,
Giving back
this
to the
is
community a little bit. Giving back to the community a little bit.
Oh, see, I was going the other way.
Oh, okay.
Of like, hey, this is our one thing where we're gonna go whale hunting.
Well, I mean, the From the Vaults were giving back to the community, though. They were sold
to the game stores,
to the LGSs at a set price. There was a limited number of them, and they said, okay, this is our gift to you guys. Make as much money as you want to on these.
Mm-hmm. But like at that point, then the LGS is hunting their local whale. Right. But if Wizards like wanted to say, you know what, we need to whale hunt once a year, we're gonna do a thing that is blatantly whale hunting.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of the products we're gonna release are gonna be for our entire player base.
Yeah.
People wouldn't feel like they're getting alienated and that like Magic wasn't for them. Right? But if every product you have to stop and go like, is this product for me? Right? Nope. And have to like make that conscious thought, right? That eventually you just get to like, I don't want to make this decision anymore.
Yep.
I'm just going to default to no. I'm going to default to no. And then I will come back. Maybe I'll be yes at a later point.
Yeah.
Right? And that's just like not good for their business model long term.
No, I mean, like I said, I am very, very close to the point where I don't want to give them $1 anymore. And
I mean,
I would almost wait until a product is out of print before I bought singles from that product.
Do I need to get Anthony on the phone to start up Casual Try Hard Flesh and Blood? I just gotta dust him off. Can we get some New Zealand Magic on the phone, please? Oh, crikey! Like, no, that's Australian. Dang it!
Close enough.
Yeah. Now we're gonna get our houses firebombed by someone from New Zealand who's like, that's not close enough.
Probably.
Yeah, but I feel like there's like, if you look at like the Flesh and Blood stuff, there's a lot of Magic pros that have found their way to Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
Right, and there's a lot of Magic pros that are like trying to hang on to Magic, being like, look at me, I Commander now. And it's like, no.
I wonder who that digs at.
Pick someone.
Yeah.
Like any number of people, right? Like Captain America, human in a bear suit, or bear in a human suit. Like any number of people are doing this now. And it's like, yeah, you didn't care about this until like the thing you actually cared about and were good at evaporated.
Yeah.
And you're like, do I have to get a real job, or can I come up with some way to not have a real job
Yeah.
Still. And it's like, you know what? I would rather play Commander than punch a time clock. So, all right, I gotta learn how to shuffle
Commander
100
it is.
cards.
Yeah.
Right?
The
Like,
big bear hands out.
Yeah, you start with Yorion as like the gateway deck. You get used to shuffling 80, and then you can transition up to 100.
And then you shuffle your sideboard in.
Yeah, and then you shuffle your sideboard in. Start playing mill.
Yeah.
You gotta get used to it, right? So, yeah, I don't know what you're doing in Hasbro land, Wizards of the Coast land, if like the thing that you were doing was printing all the cards all the time to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And printing all the cards all the time doesn't make you money.
Right.
Like, what have you done? Like,
jump the shark.
Hey, I got a short
Where
we jump a shark.
I responded to one of Wizards' tweets over the weekend with Wizards Jump the Shark. They were trying to plug Brothers War on Arena or something, and I said, you guys jump the shark. I got like 10 likes on that tweet.
Nice. Nice. Last time I interacted with someone on like something on the Wizards thing, I had Jace the Mind Sculptor come at me and call me say I was a scrub because I thought I look like a genius. So I was like, getting rid of buys for playing at the local level in these events, like, diminishes the value of playing at the local level.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You want to give people like a clear like ladder of like, you play F&M, that makes it so then you can move on to this next level and get some sort of bonus for grinding your F&Ms.
Or maybe convince somebody to play in a GP if like they incidentally earned some buys at their F&M.
Like, oh man, I have a buy, like I might as well go.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, Jace the Mind Sculptor says, well, maybe get good. If you were better, you wouldn't. It's like, okay, fine. Yeah. So I don't have places to play. Like, Jace, you're from, you can go anywhere. You're a planeswalker. Like, I'm surprised you can't find an LGS. Space. Yeah, I'm surprised you don't have an LGS where you are, Jace.
Yeah.
But, like, it's like, no, like, there's no longer, there used to be a thread, no matter how, like, weak, right, that tied F&M to the Pro Tour that you watched 4 times a year on Twitch.
Yep.
Right? And I could clearly, like, you could say, like, if I, like, start climbing this ladder, if I follow this thread, maybe I can get here. Right? Or I can at least make my way up the ladder somewhere and feel like I have, like, a chance to do that thing. Right? I mean, a couple better draws and like you top 16 or top 8 that Modern Horizons GP.
Yep.
Right? If I didn't play against some of these slowest players in the history of mankind, maybe I don't get 3 draws and I get some W's instead.
Yep.
And like, I finish way better in that GP and like, oh man, like I finished like 50th. Like, okay, like big improvement. Now this is a stepping stone I can use to go to the next thing, right? Mm-hmm. Right? And like, oh, like I'm hot. I gotta keep doing this, right? And now like they've just destroyed all that. And it's like, hey, how about you drive all around your local area to qualify for this GP? Oh, cool. So I don't have to pay to get in? No. No, you gotta pay to get in the room, and then you gotta pay to and the event.
Yep.
But I qualified for the event. You qualified for the right to hand us some money.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a terrible qualification. But do you want to go to the Pro Tour? I like the sound of the words Pro Tour. What about qualify for the World Championships? I want to be a world champ. Okay, fine. Right? But at some point, in the not too distant future, people are going to be like, man, that was a really bum deal. Mm-hmm. Right? How many people that heard about you had to pay to get into DreamHack and then pay to, like, do the thing at DreamHack to pay are gonna be like, you know what? I'm not gonna like spend a bunch of time to drive around to all these events.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're like the hardcore like grinders that like will just continue. But like Magic can't survive off the hardcore grinders, right? They need those
Obviously,
people
that's
that
why they
like,
wrecked the system last time, is because Magic
yeah,
couldn't survive off the grinders.
but like you need the people that are like, I've played a couple FNMs and I'm gonna go to this like whatever PTQ thing,
Mm-hmm.
right, or RCQ thing. But then like their friends like, yeah, man, like if you qualify, you got to spend like $70 to get into DreamHack, and then like $50 to get into the tournament. And then we're like, dude, I don't have $120 to spend after I drove 3 hours to play in like a stinky karate gym.
Yeah, plus had to travel to this event, plus get a hotel room, plus food.
Yeah, right. Like it just seems, it seems like they've not done a whole lot to like move the like. It seems like they wanted to throw all the casual players into Commander,
Mm-hmm.
and then I guess if like you competitive 60 card people are still around, I guess we'll throw something together for you.
Yeah.
So like maybe you'll buy boxes from
Or
time to time.
We'll let somebody else throw something together for you.
Exactly. We'll bring Huey in so he can make some phone calls and find some people that want to do this.
Yeah.
And there's also the like question of like, does like I don't know how long the DreamHack contract is,
I have no idea.
but like, what if DreamHack runs into the same problem that Channel Fireball and Star Cities did, right? Like, I don't think from their website, I don't think they had like, 30 vendors paying them like booth fees.
Yeah, I have no
and
idea.
Stuff.
I've never been to
like
a
if you're DreamHack, are you like, man, I would make way more money if this table space was more seating for a league.
Yeah.
For a league event, or more seating for the new Modern Warfare game,
Mm-hmm.
or something, right? Like, so are they gonna be like, you know what, this isn't worth doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, it's sad, right? Because we've seen Magic just in the last like 4 years, just slowly but surely alienate seemingly everyone.
Yeah, it's. I think I said in Discord the other day that it's basically a leaning tower of garbage that's finally toppled.
He was really heated about losing his card conduit or whatever it is.
Card Conjurer.
Card conjurer.
I think that was even before that news.
But like, if you're trying to like make everything for casual players and then like trying to like take all their money from them at your event, and then also like those players like, can you please stop printing so much stuff for my format?
No.
And you're like, no. We want to give you multiple commander decks a year or a set, plus then your own commander release. And we're going to put 35 legends in every set. I remember when legends were like 3 a set. They like meant something. No. Lauren of the Third Path. What does Lauren do? No one knows.
You know what?
Why do
I actually don't think we can fit enough legends in the actual set. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to put some that you can only get in set and collector boosters. You can't get in draft boosters. And then we're going to put some more that you can only get in jumpstart boosters. But then we're also going to do a jumpstart set with more legends in it.
So I was informed today because in Discord, people were posting pictures of cards. And I asked as we were doing stuff at the start of the show, where are these cards coming from? And I was informed there were spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea.
Yep.
I watch, I go through Mythic Spoiler for, every spoiler season. I go check it out. Or I check out the videos that come out for, spoilers. And who in their right mind was like, yo, we should do spoilers the week of Thanksgiving. It's not like any... You know what? You know what happened on a Sunday? The biggest sporting event in the world started right before Thanksgiving. Let's start our spoiler season right then. That sounds awesome.
Yep.
People are going to really see this. But, I had no idea. Right? How do I go from, knowing... Again, I used to know all the set releases.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like you can't know all the set releases.
It's impossible to.
Right? What other business has the model of like, could you imagine if like a video game company just released so many games you never knew when they were coming out?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, hey, like we're gonna release 35 Call of Duties this year.
What?
Why? I just
Don't
got
worry,
the last
some
one.
of them aren't for you.
Yeah, some of them aren't for you. Here's the $4,000 steel pack.
Yeah.
No noob version. That one's probably not for you because you're a noob.
Yeah.
Here's the $8,000 deluxe streamer edition that lets you use wall hacks. Sweet. Right, and it's just like right, like even EA that releases a ton of games, they're like, okay, we're gonna spend 2 months hyping up this game and then we're gonna release it. Wizards has so many products, they're like, we're gonna spend 3 days hyping up this product and then we're gonna release it and then we're gonna let it breathe for 2 days and then we're gonna get right back. Then we're gonna send Blake out there on Daily MTG and go, hey, here's some more products for you.
Yeah.
And no one's gonna care.
Yep.
So I want to care again, man.
Well, I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon. The you mentioned the Blake thing on Daily MTG. That stream came out the same day as the Hasbro stock analyst thing.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's why chat was ripping him a new one, because now all of the stuff that every Magic player has been saying forever is validated by a suit behind a desk punching a keyboard saying this is the way it is, right? So
and a suit that made your company lose 10% of its value.
Right. So chat was really railing Blake, I guess, about, pace of releases, products aren't for me, blah 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 blah. And like, do you know what his answer was?
I heard it was like, some of these products aren't for you.
Yeah. His answer was, I suggest that you only purchase products that you're interested in.
And then people were like, I'm not interested in Magic anymore.
Exactly.
Oh man, we could have bought the dip. It's up $5 since the bottom.
Hasbro is?
Yeah, dang it. But don't worry, it went up $5 from the bottom and now it's slowly working its way back down.
I'm sure. I don't know. I just think they've pissed too many people off. I don't know. I don't even know what the game is anymore. It's extremely frustrating.
Yeah, it is wild. Like, looking at their stock price, I brought up the 5-year. What is the maximum? Okay. The maximum goes back to like 1980 something, 1982. But if you look at like the 5-year, it was $94 a share in 2017. It got all the way up to $118 in 2019, and then COVID happened. COVID happened, and it went down to 46.
Yeah,
and then it just made a slow march back up to where it had been historically, right around 100. Got up to 102. The beginning of this year, it was 102, and it's just fallen off a cliff.
Yep.
So, like, it's just like,
it's crazy. I mean, what happened this year?
Yeah, I don't know. But, like, you could see, when did they start Secret Layers? Did they start them last year or the year before?
Year before.
They started them in 2020?
Yeah.
Right, so, like, Things Crater, you start doing Secret Layers, right, around, like, December, right? That was the first one?
Yep.
Right, and then, like, you get a year of that, basically, and then people are like, I'm done, and it just falls off a cliff. Right? Like, a year of just going nuts.
I mean, it's not just Secret Layers, though. I mean, it's everything.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, there's a Fox Business segment
On Hasbro.
Hasbro's Magic the Gathering collectible cards suffer a magic crash.
Ooh.
And like, yeah, it's just funny, like how, like all this stuff. Oh man, it's got a consensus rating of hold right now, with based on 4 buys, 4 holds, and 1 sell rating. Dun dun dun. So I don't know. I wish that we could figure out that they could figure out a way to like figure out how they can make money and make people happy.
Yeah.
And I know that's a huge ask. I guess that's like the key to all business is to make money and make people happy.
Yep.
Right? Because happier people are more likely to give you money.
For sure. I mean, I was plenty happy giving them money for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I keep buying cards and I'm just like, what am I going to use these for?
Yep.
But like, I am currently conditioned, but like, I buy way less cards now.
Yeah.
Like, I think there were like 4 cards I think I went through the list. There's like 4 cards I want from this set that I want for like perhaps constructed play. And then I bought a bunch of like cards for my cube.
Yep.
But that's like it. It's just like, okay, this doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, with all of that fun and excitement, I think we have a show.
I hope so. My voice is starting to go.
Yeah. So, if you want to tell us that, in fact, Magic is for us, you can do that on all of our social media links that you can find in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, Discord. You can tell us why we're wrong and why Magic is for everyone.
Yeah, or if you want to listen to me jump off the deep end, head on over to Discord. I do it not super regularly, but often enough. Also want to pay a special mention to our YouTube channel. Like I said at the top of the show, Brian's been doing some limited content there. It goes up Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This show is posted there on Thursdays, the live version with video, so you can take a peek at us while we're talking at you. And then on Tuesdays, I started recording some just kind of funsy, casual, constructed stuff. It's going to be a little bit of a grab bag, whatever I feel like playing. So head on over there, check it out. If there's anything in particular that you want to see me play, you can post that up also.
Yeah.
If you want to support the show, 2 ways to do it. First is TCG Player through our affiliate link, tcg.casualtryhardmtg.com. Follow that link on over to TCG Player. Anything you purchase, we'll get a percentage of to help keep the show going. If you want to support us more directly, patreon.com/casualtryhardmtg. You can chip a couple bucks in if you like the product that the content that we put out. And you get put on my mailing list when I have little givebacks to send you guys. You also get to listen to our pre-show, and you get access to our show notes. So if you want to show us how much you appreciate us, that's a way you can do that. Patreon.com/casualtryhardmtg.
All right. So with that, we'll catch you on the internet.
We'll catch you on the internets.